Temperatures around the world have been record warm for 14 consecutive months. That means we've set the hottest January ever, the hottest February ever, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, all eyes are on 2016, already on pace to be the hottest year ever around the world. NASA just released its latest analysis of temperatures from around the world so far for 2016 with some pretty remarkable findings. So joining us is NASA scientist Dr. Compton Tucker from Maryland. Thank you for your time, sir.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, some of the most startling numbers are coming from the Arctic, where we've seen Alaska shattering all-time temperature records. You guys have folks up there in the field. What are you seeing?
Yes, we do. We have some NASA projects that are operating out of Alaska right now. These are aircraft missions. It's called Operation Icebridge, and we fly NASA instruments like we have on our satellites, but on airplanes. And what they do is they collect data over the Arctic Ocean, of Arctic sea ice. They also collect a lot of data over Greenland because we're also worried about what's happening in Greenland because of the ice sheet there.
Sure, and speaking of that, ice in the Arctic is melting at really unprecedented rates. I saw that 2 Texas-sized chunks, 2 of them, chunks of ice, are missing compared to what we typically see in terms of ice cover. What would the consequences of something like this be?
Well, what the consequences of Arctic sea ice melting more rapidly is if you have ice in the Arctic Ocean, it reflects sunlight back into space. If there's no ice there, then the energy from the sun goes into the water and warms it more, so you have a feedback. This is why the ice cover is very important, because it maintains ice by reflecting energy back into space.
So some folks might think, well, you know, we're getting warmer. That sounds nice. That sounds more comfortable to live in. Why do we care about the impacts of this record heat around the world?
Okay, the impacts of warmer conditions are 2 things. One is you have more frequent droughts because it'll be very warm or warmer. If you don't have precipitation, this is not good for plant growth. And the second problem we have in the western part of the United States, with warmer conditions, we have more forest fires in the summer. And this is worrisome because if it doesn't rain for a period of time and it's very, very warm, those are excellent conditions for forest fires.
And we can certainly relate to that here in Texas with several fires in our recent history. NASA scientist Dr. Compton Tucker, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be sure to check back in with you as the year unfolds. Now we want to dig a little deeper into these warm temperatures. Red on this map you're looking at here, it shows warmer than average conditions instead of blue, which would be cooler. And you can see that so far this year, basically the entire U.S. has been warmer than the 20th century average. That does include most of Texas. Even more locally, look at this. Using data through early this week, Austin, we found out, is actually experiencing its 9th hottest year in history, and we've got more than 100 years of record in the books. This is also our 3rd hottest July to this date. We're always going to keep you posted on the changing climate and this hot summer right here on KXAN on the CW.